The Devourer vanguard emerged from the darkness between stars like a nightmare given form. Admiral Hyunwoo stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. Each ship was massive beyond comprehension. Living creatures the size of moons, their organic hulls pulsing with alien life. "Contact count?" he asked, his voice barely steady. 47 ships, reported Captain Ki-jun. "But sir, the energy readings, each one is more powerful than our entire fleet combined." Commander Yunha stood beside the Admiral on the bridge of the Peaceful Dawn, watching the approaching horror with grim familiarity. "The advanced scouts," she said quietly. "The main fleet will be 100 times larger." Dr. So-young watched the biological ships with scientific fascination and terror. "They're alive. Actually alive. How do you fight something that feels no pain?" The human engineer Minho answered while working frantically to adapt human weapons to Federation ships. "You don't fight them like machines. You fight them like the monsters they are." Admiral Hyunwoo opened communications to his fleet. "All ships prepare for first contact. Standard defensive posture. Attempt peaceful communication." Commander Yunha grabbed his arm. "Admiral, no. They don't communicate. They consume." But Federation protocols had worked for 800 years. Admiral Hyunwoo broadcast friendship messages, mathematical proofs of intelligence, and offers of peaceful trade toward the approaching biological ships. The Devourers responded by opening fire. The first volley of bioplasma tore through 3 Federation ships instantly. The Harmony's Edge tried to raise shields, but the organic weapons ate through energy barriers like they weren't there. Captain Ki-jun watched in horror as his sister ship Peaceful Valley dissolved under streams of biological acid. "All ships return fire," Admiral Hyunwoo ordered. The Federation fleet unleashed their stunning weapons. Energy beams designed to disable enemy ships without causing permanent damage. The blue streams of light struck the Devourer vessels and did absolutely nothing. "Sir, stunning weapons are ineffective," reported the weapons officer. "The biological ships show no response to non-lethal energy." Commander Yunha had taken tactical control without asking permission. "All Federation ships fall back to the asteroid field. Use the rocks as cover. And for the love of whatever gods you worship, switch to lethal weapons." "We don't have lethal weapons," Admiral Hyunwoo replied in despair. The Devourer ships moved like living predators, surrounding and cutting off Federation vessels. Dr. So-young watched in fascination as the biological ships extended, feeding tentacles toward damaged Federation craft. "They're not trying to destroy us quickly," she realized. "They're trying to capture and consume us alive." The human Dr. Jun Seo worked alongside Federation scientists to understand their enemy during the battle. "The ships are essentially massive stomachs," he explained. "They consume other vessels to grow larger and stronger." Half the Federation fleet was destroyed or captured within the first hour. Admiral Hyunwoo had never experienced real combat, and his peaceful tactics were useless against an enemy that wanted to eat him. Then salvation arrived in the form of 12 small human ships. The human fleet was tiny compared to either the Federation or Devourer forces, but each vessel was a masterpiece of Deathworld engineering. Where Federation ships were elegant and graceful, human ships were built like weapons. Where Devourer ships were organic and flowing, human ships were angular and brutal. Captain Haewon commanded the human fleet from the bridge of the Vengeance. Her ship had survived the fall of Earth and carried scars from 100 battles. She opened communications to Admiral Hyunwoo. "Federation fleet, this is Captain Haewon. We're taking tactical command." "You have 12 ships against 47 Devourer vessels," Admiral Hyunwoo protested. "We've fought worse odds," Captain Haewon replied calmly. "Watch and learn how Deathworlders wage war." The human ships attacked with shocking brutality. They used the asteroid field as ammunition, accelerating massive rocks to incredible speeds and hurling them at Devourer ships. When that failed to penetrate biological armor, they resorted to more creative tactics. The human ship Defiance flew directly into the gravity well of the system's star, using the intense radiation and heat to charge its weapons beyond safe limits. Then it emerged from the stellar corona like an avenging angel, its supercharged guns tearing through Devourer bioarmor. Dr. So-young watched in amazement as human tactics unfolded. They're not fighting like a fleet. They're fighting like pack hunters. The humans had learned to coordinate their attacks through 2 centuries of warfare. 3 ships would distract a devourer vessel, while 2 others attacked its vulnerable feeding organs. When devourer ships tried to capture human vessels, they found their tentacles met with mining charges that explosively severed the biological connections. But the most shocking moment came when Captain Haywan realized the battle was turning against them. The devourers were adapting to human tactics faster than expected. "All human ships, implement Protocol 7, she ordered. Admiral Hyunwoo didn't understand what Protocol 7 meant until he saw it happen. The human flagship Vengeance suddenly accelerated directly toward the largest devourer ship. "Captain Haywan, what are you doing?" he called out. "What humans do best," she replied. "Whatever it takes to protect others." The Vengeance crashed directly into the devourer command ship at full speed, its reactor set to overload. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away. When the light faded, both ships were gone. Without their command ship, the remaining devourer vessels became disorganized. The surviving human and Federation ships managed to drive them off, but at enormous cost. Only 2 human ships remained intact. Over half the Federation fleet was destroyed or consumed. In the aftermath, Admiral Hyunwoo found Commander Yunha in the wreckage of her escape pod. She was badly injured but still alive. "You're Captain Haywan," he said quietly. "She sacrificed herself to save us." Commander Yunha nodded weakly. "That's what humans do. We protect those who cannot protect themselves." Dr. So-young approached with her medical kit. "Commander, we need to get you to a medical bay." "No time," Yunha replied. "The main devourer fleet will be here soon." This was just their advance guard. Admiral Hyunwoo looked at the devastation around them. "How do we fight something like that with what we have left?" Commander Yunha struggled to sit up. "You don't fight them like the Federation. You learn to fight like humans, like Deathworlders." The battle was over, but the war for the galaxy's future had just begun. The Federation had learned that peace was a luxury the universe did not guarantee. And in the depths of space, the main devourer fleet detected the destruction of their advance guard and began accelerating toward Federation space. The peaceful age was ending. The age of survival had begun. The Federation's largest conference room had been hastily converted for first contact protocols, but nothing could have prepared them for this moment. Commander Yunha sat across from Admiral Hyunwoo, her scarred hands resting on the table like weapons ready for use. Every movement she made spoke of controlled violence. Dr. So-young studied the humans with fascination and terror. Up close, they were even more disturbing. Their dense bone structure was designed for a world that tried to kill them daily. Their forward-facing eyes tracked everything with predatory focus. Even at rest, they radiated dangerous energy. "Tell us about your world," Dr. So-young requested, activating the universal translator. The young human Wu Jin, who showed remarkable skill with languages, served as translator when the machines failed. His ability to learn Federation speech patterns so quickly amazed the linguists. Dr. Yoon Seo, the human scientist, answered first. "What you call a death world, we called home. Earth was beautiful in ways you cannot understand. Yes, the gravity was crushing. Yes, the storms could level mountains. Yes, the radiation would kill most species, but it made us strong." Admiral Hyunwoo leaned forward. "How long did your species take to develop space travel?" 3,000 years from first civilization to first starship, Commander Yunha replied. "But we had been fighting for survival every single day. When we reached the stars, we were already warriors." The Federation officers exchanged nervous glances. Their own species had reached space in half that time, developing through cooperation and peaceful progress. Dr. So-young asked the question that troubled her most. "What happened when you first encountered other species?" Commander Yunha's expression darkened. "We found 17 civilizations before the Devourers came. All of them were peaceful like you. All of them are gone now. Gone." Yujin whispered. The human engineer Minho spoke for the first time. His voice was quiet but carried the weight of terrible experience. "The Devourers found our first colony world 50 years after we left Earth. We thought we could negotiate. We thought we could reason with them." He showed them a small device, a human data recorder. The holographic images it projected made several Federation officers leave the room in horror. Massive organic ships descended on a peaceful human settlement. The Devourers consumed everything: buildings, plants, people. Nothing remained but bare rock. "They don't destroy civilizations for resources," Dr. Junseo explained. They consume civilizations to fuel their own growth. Every ship, every life, every piece of technology becomes part of their hive mind. Admiral Hyunwoo struggled to understand. But surely there must be some way to communicate with them. Commander Yunha almost laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. Admiral, we fought them for 200 years. We tried everything. Communication, negotiation, hiding, running. Nothing worked. They see all other life as food. Dr. So-young examined the human technology Minho had brought. Their equipment was crude by Federation standards, built for function rather than elegance. But it was incredibly tough and reliable. Your weapons, she said, studying a human gun. They're designed to kill completely. Minho nodded grimly. Federation weapons are designed to disable and capture. Ours are designed to eliminate threats permanently. When something is trying to eat you and everyone you love, you don't want to stun it. You want it dead. The philosophical difference struck the Federation officers like a physical blow. For 800 years, they had solved conflicts through understanding and compromise. The humans had survived by becoming perfect killers. Wu Jin continued translating as Commander Yunha told their story. We evacuated Earth 17 times as the Devourers approached. Each time we thought we could find a safe place to rebuild. Each time they found us. The final evacuation, Dr. Jun Seo added, included 40 billion humans spread across 37 colony worlds. The Devourers consumed them all in 6 months. The numbers were staggering. The entire Federation contained only 20 billion citizens across 47 worlds, and they had built that civilization over thousands of years of peace. How many of you survived? Admiral Hyunwoo asked quietly. 12,000 humans on 15 ships, Commander Yunha replied. That's all that's left of our species. The conference room fell silent. An entire civilization reduced to a few thousand survivors. Yujin tried to find hope in the situation, but you escaped. You can rebuild. Commander Yunha shook her head. The Devourers don't just destroy civilizations. They learn from them. Every species they consume makes them stronger, smarter, more adaptable. By the time they finished with us, they had absorbed our military knowledge, our technology, our tactics. Dr. So-young realized the horrible implications. They know how humans fight now. Yes, and they're using that knowledge to prepare for their next expansion. Commander Yunha looked directly at Admiral Hyunwoo. Your Federation space. Minho activated another device showing star charts that made the Federation officers gasp. The Devourer expansion was massive, a wave of consumption that had swept across thousands of star systems over millions of years. This is their pattern, he explained. They consume a civilization completely, then use the resources to build a larger fleet for the next expansion. Each wave is bigger than the last. Dr. Jun Seo added the most terrifying detail. According to our calculations, the Federation represents the largest concentration of peaceful civilizations they've ever encountered. After consuming your 47 worlds, they'll have enough resources to expand beyond this galaxy. The Federation's first contact with humanity was becoming their worst nightmare. They had come expecting to rescue survivors and perhaps gain new allies. Instead, they had found refugees from a war they couldn't imagine, bearing news of approaching doom. Admiral Hyunwoo asked the question that terrified him most. How do we fight them? Commander Yunha studied the peaceful Federation officers with something like pity. You don't. Your ships are built for exploration. Your weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. Your people have never known real war. But we have superior numbers, Captain Kijun protested. 200 ships in this fleet alone. The humans exchanged glances again. Wu Jin translated rapidly as they spoke among themselves. Admiral, Commander Yunha said finally, the Devourer advance fleet that destroyed Earth numbered over 1,000 ships. Each ship is a living creature the size of a moon, bred specifically for consuming civilizations. Your entire fleet couldn't damage one of them. Dr. So-young felt hope dying in her chest. Then the Federation is doomed. Maybe, Commander Yunha replied. But maybe not. You have something we never had. What? Admiral Hyunwoo asked. Time to prepare. And us. The humans began explaining their plan, a desperate gambit that would require the Federation to become something they had never been before, warriors. Outside the conference room, Federation sensors detected massive objects moving through space toward them. The Devourers had arrived ahead of schedule, and the first battle between the peaceful Federation and the galaxy's most perfect predators was about to begin. The Federation fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel to witness horror beyond their worst nightmares. The system that had sent the distress signal was a graveyard of worlds. 3 planets showed massive craters where cities had once stood. Orbital stations hung in pieces, their wreckage forming rings of metal around dead worlds. Admiral Hyunwoo stared at the destruction through the view screen of the peaceful dawn. In 800 years of peace, no Federation citizen had ever seen anything like this. Specialist Namjoon. Report, the Admiral ordered. Namjoon. The fleet's battle damage analyst worked frantically at his console. His job had been mostly theoretical until now. The Federation hadn't seen real combat in centuries. Sir, the defensive installations were incredible, Namjoon reported, his voice shaking. Energy shields that could stop planet-killing weapons. Gun platforms larger than our biggest ships. But they were all destroyed. Captain Kijun studied the debris patterns. Whatever did this was methodical. They didn't just attack. They completely eliminated every trace of civilization. At the center of the devastation hung the source of the signal. A massive world that hurt to look at. The planet's surface was hidden behind violent storms. Lightning flashed constantly through poisonous clouds. Radiation readings were off every scale. Dr. So-young checked her instruments again, hoping she had made an error. Gravity is 3 times Federation standard. Atmospheric pressure would crush our ships if we tried to land. Surface temperature varies from boiling to freezing within hours. This isn't a world, it's a natural torture device. Yet the signal came from there, Admiral Hyunwoo said quietly. Sir, the communications officer called out, I'm detecting massive underground structures. They're deep beneath the surface, but they're definitely artificial. Commander Yu Jin, leader of the fleet's first contact team, stepped forward. She had made peaceful contact with dozens of species over her career. But nothing had prepared her for this. Admiral, request permission to broadcast standard first contact protocols, she said. Admiral Hyunwoo nodded. Begin transmission. Yu Jin activated the universal translator and began broadcasting mathematical proofs, music, and friendship messages toward the hellish planet below. It was the same process that had worked 47 times before with other species. For 6 hours, they received no response. The Federation fleet waited patiently, following protocols that had never failed. Dr. Sang-woo, the fleet's atmospheric specialist, used the time to study the planet's impossible conditions. The electromagnetic storms should make all communication impossible, he reported. Yet somehow they managed to send that signal across half the galaxy. Their technology must be incredibly advanced. Then something emerged from the planet's surface. It was small compared to Federation vessels, barely larger than a shuttle. But it moved with purpose, cutting through the deadly atmosphere like it was built for such conditions. The ship's design was disturbing. Where Federation vessels were elegant and graceful, this craft was built like a weapon. Heavy armor covered every surface. Its engines burned with dangerous intensity. It's heading straight for us, Captain Kijun reported. Ship design is completely unknown, Dr. So-young added. But those energy readings, Admiral, this little ship has weapons that could seriously damage our flagship. The alien vessel approached without fear, as if a 200-ship fleet posed no threat at all. It moved like a predator, constantly adjusting course in ways that would make it harder to target. They're requesting permission to dock, the communications officer announced. Admiral Hyunwoo hesitated. Everything about the approaching ship screamed danger. But they had come here to make contact with the signal senders. Permission granted. Direct them to Docking Bay 7. The alien ship clamped onto the flagship with mechanical precision. Through the cameras, the Federation crew watched as the docking bay filled with atmosphere. Then the airlock opened. The first human stepped aboard a Federation vessel. She was bipedal like many species, but everything else about her was wrong. Her eyes faced forward like a predator's. Her muscles were dense and powerful, adapted for the crushing gravity of her homeworld. Scars covered her visible skin, telling stories of battles the peaceful Federation couldn't imagine. Behind her came 2 more humans, a younger male who moved with the same controlled aggression, and an older man whose eyes never stopped scanning for threats. Commander Yu Jin approached with standard first contact protocols. She offered the universal symbol of peace, open hands showing no weapons. The human leader looked at Yu Jin's gesture and almost smiled. She spoke in a harsh language that the universal translator struggled to process. "I am Commander Yun-Ha of the Human Defense Force." The translation finally came through. "You need to leave this system immediately. They'll be back soon." Yujin tried to follow diplomatic procedures. "I am Commander Yujin of the Galactic Federation. We received your distress signal and came to offer assistance." The human called Yun-Ha stared at Yujin like she was looking at a child. "Assistance? How many ships do you have?" 200 vessels representing 47 peaceful worlds, Yujin said proudly. The humans exchanged glances. The younger one, who introduced himself as Wu Jin, spoke in rapid human language to Commander Yun-Ha. She shook her head sadly. 200 ships won't be enough, Yun-Ha said. The Devourers sent 1,000 ships to finish us. Each one is larger than your entire fleet. Dr. So Young stepped forward, fascinated despite the danger. "Commander Yun-Ha, our sensors show this planet is completely uninhabitable. How did your species develop here?" The older human, who called himself Dr. Jun Seo, answered, "Your people evolved in paradise. Mine evolved in hell. Every day was a fight for survival against our own world before we ever reached the stars." Admiral Hyunwoo joined the conversation. "Your distress signal mentioned coordinates. What did you want us to find?" Commander Yunha's expression grew grim. "The location of our last evacuation ships. 3,000 survivors heading for the edge of the galaxy. But it doesn't matter now. The Devourers consumed our entire civilization to fuel their next expansion." "Next expansion?" Yujin asked. "Your Federation space," Yunha replied. "According to our intelligence, you have 6 months before they arrive." Maybe less. The docking bay fell silent. 200 ships had seemed like an unstoppable force when they left Federation space. Now they felt like toys in the face of something that had destroyed an entire civilization of warriors. "Commander," Admiral Hyunwoo said carefully, "what exactly are the Devourers?" Yunha looked at the peaceful Federation officers with something like pity. "They're what happens when evolution chooses hunger over intelligence. A hive mind that consumes entire worlds. They've been expanding across the galaxy for millions of years." The young human Wu Jin added, "They don't negotiate. They don't trade. They just consume everything and move on to the next system." For the first time in 800 years, the Federation faced something that couldn't be solved with diplomacy, and they were about to learn just how unprepared they were for the universe's real dangers. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the Federation flagship Peaceful Dawn, watching the largest fleet in galactic history prepare for departure. 200 ships stretched across space like a constellation of hope and determination. Each vessel represented the combined peaceful ideals of 47 different worlds. The Admiral had never commanded a war fleet because the Federation had never needed one. For 800 years, all conflicts had been solved through trade negotiations and diplomatic talks. His ships were designed for exploration, equipped with advanced sensors and universal translators, not weapons. "Final ship count, Captain Kijun?" the Admiral asked. Kijun, captain of the exploration vessel Harmony's Edge, checked his displays. 200 ships confirmed, sir. 50 exploration cruisers, 30 medical vessels, 40 diplomatic ships, 40 defense platforms, and 40 supply transports. Admiral Hyunwoo nodded. The fleet looked impressive, but he worried about their mission. They were flying toward a system that had somehow produced intelligent life on a death world, something every Federation scientist said was impossible. Dr. So Young approached the Admiral with her latest report. As the Federation's chief scientist, she had been studying the mysterious signal for weeks. Her findings grew more disturbing each day. "Admiral, we've analyzed the energy signatures again," she said. "The civilization that sent the distress call possessed weapons technology at least 500 years ahead of ours. Yet something destroyed them completely." "How is that possible?" the Admiral asked. "We don't know. But there's something else. Long-range sensors show massive objects moving through space toward Federation territory. They're too far away to identify, but they're following the same path that signal took." Admiral Hyunwoo felt a chill run through him. Whatever had destroyed the signal senders was now heading toward peaceful Federation worlds filled with billions of innocent civilians. Meanwhile, on the planet Velios, Dr. So Young's assistant Namjoon was studying battle damage from the mysterious signal's origin point. Using the Federation's most powerful telescopes, he had managed to capture images of the devastation. "This is impossible," Namjoon muttered, staring at his screens. The images showed the remains of defensive installations around the Death World. They were massive, larger than anything the Federation had ever built, but they had been completely destroyed. The defensive platforms were more advanced than our best technology, he reported to Dr. So-Young. Whoever built them understood warfare better than we do, yet they were swept away like dust. The Federation fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading toward the unknown system. Admiral Hyunwoo tried to maintain confidence, but doubts plagued him. His ships carried stunning weapons designed to disable enemy vessels without killing their crews. They had medical bays ready to treat any injured aliens they might find. They had diplomatic suites prepared for first contact with new species. But what if they encountered something that couldn't be reasoned with? Captain Ki-jun was thinking the same thing as he prepared his crew for the mission ahead. The Harmony's Edge had made first contact with 12 different species over the years. Every encounter had resulted in peaceful trade relationships and cultural exchange. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving a message from Federation Command." The message was brief but alarming. Additional long-range sensor data confirms massive objects approaching Federation space. Estimated arrival in 6 months. Fleet is authorized to use all necessary measures to protect Federation civilians. Admiral Hyunwoo read the message with growing dread. 6 months. Whatever was coming would reach peaceful Federation worlds in 6 months. His fleet had to find answers before then. 3 days into their journey, the fleet encountered something unexpected. A small battered ship drifted at the edge of an uninhabited star system. It was unlike any vessel in Federation databases, built like an armored brick rather than the elegant curves of Federation design. "It's crude," reported the fleet's chief engineer, "but incredibly tough. This ship has been through battles that would destroy our vessels." "Any life signs?" Admiral Hyunwoo asked. "None. But there are databanks that might still be functional." A recovery team brought the alien ship aboard the flagship. The technology inside was fascinating and disturbing. Everything was designed for combat. The ship's hull could withstand massive damage. Its weapons were built to destroy, not disable. Dr. So-Young examined the alien equipment with growing amazement. "This species evolved very differently from us," she told the Admiral. "Every piece of technology is designed for survival in hostile conditions. They expected everything to try to kill them." The ship's databanks revealed fragments of information about its builders. They called themselves humans, and they came from a world they considered a paradise despite conditions that would kill most Federation species instantly. "Look at this." Dr. So-Young showed Admiral Hyunwoo recordings from the ship's memory. "Their homeworld has gravity 3 times our standard. Violent storms that could level cities, radiation levels that would be fatal to us, yet they called it beautiful." But the most disturbing discovery was the ship's battle records. The humans had been fighting something called the Devourers for over 200 years. Every encounter showed the same pattern. Massive biological ships that consumed everything in their path. "They're not just warriors," Dr. So-Young explained. "They're survivors of a war that lasted longer than our entire peaceful age." Admiral Hyunwoo studied the data with growing horror. If these humans with their advanced weapons and centuries of warfare experience had been defeated, what chance did the peaceful Federation have? "Sir," Captain Ki-jun reported, "we're approaching the target system." Through the view screen they could see devastation beyond imagination. 3 planets showed signs of recent orbital bombardment. Massive debris fields drifted where space stations had once stood. And at the center of it all was the Death World where the signal had originated. "My God," Admiral Hyunwoo whispered. "What have we gotten ourselves into?" The Federation fleet moved cautiously into the system, their sensors straining to understand what had happened here. They were about to make first contact with the survivors of humanity, a species forged in hell and tempered by 2 centuries of total war. Behind them, unseen and undetected, the first scouts of the Devourer fleet had already crossed into Federation space. The morning shift at Kepler Station started like any other. Daeho sat at his communication desk, watching the steady flow of trade messages between the peaceful worlds of the Federation. Ships carried spices from Altair, crystals from Vega, and knowledge from a dozen other worlds. For 300 years this had been the way of things. Daeho's crystalline fingers moved across the control panel, sorting messages by priority. Most were routine cargo manifests and arrival times. Nothing ever happened at Kepler Station. It was a quiet posting, perfect for someone who liked peaceful work. Then the signal came. At first, Daeho thought his equipment was broken. The message appeared on every frequency at once. It was loud, desperate, and unlike anything he had ever heard. The signal came from somewhere far beyond Federation space, from a region marked on all star charts as empty. "Commander Bo-Ra," Daeho called out, his voice shaking. "You need to see this." Bo-Ra walked over to his station. She had been running Kepler Station for 20 years, and had never seen Daeho look worried. The Xanthari were calm by nature, almost impossible to upset. "What is it?" she asked. "A distress signal, but not like any we know. It's coming from the dead zone beyond the rim." Bo-Ra looked at the readings. The signal was powerful enough to reach across half the galaxy. Whatever had sent it possessed technology far beyond what the Federation used. But the dead zone was impossible. No life could exist there. The radiation alone would kill any known species in minutes. "Call Taemin," Bo-Ra ordered. "If this is a real message, we need it decoded now." Taemin arrived within minutes. The young Velian was the best language expert on the station. He had learned 37 different alien languages and could usually crack new codes in hours. But this signal was different. "The mathematics are perfect," Taemin said, studying the data. "Whoever sent this knows advanced science. But the language structure is completely unknown. It's like nothing in our databases." For 6 hours, Taemin worked on the signal. Bo-Ra paced behind him while Daeho monitored for more transmissions. The station's other workers gathered around, watching nervously. Finally, Taemin looked up. His face was pale. "I've got it," he whispered. "But you're not going to like what it says." He played the translated message through the station speakers. A voice spoke in clear, simple words that chilled everyone who heard them. "We are the last. They have found us. Coordinates follow. If anyone receives this run..." The station fell silent. Bo-Ra stared at the display showing the signal's origin point. It came from a system with a massive, deadly world, a place where no intelligent life should exist. "There's more," Taemin said quietly. "Energy signatures in the transmission show the senders had weapons that could destroy entire star systems. But they're calling for help." Daeho checked his instruments again. "The signal is getting weaker. I think it stopped." Bo-Ra made the hardest decision of her career. "Send this to Federation Command immediately. Maximum priority." Within hours, the message reached the capital worlds. Emergency meetings were called. Scientists studied the data while military advisors tried to understand the implications. The Federation had never encountered anything like this. Dr. So-Young, the Federation's chief scientist, presented her findings to the High Council. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook as she spoke. "The signal originates from a Class 12 death world," she explained. "Gravity 3 times our standard. Atmospheric pressure that would crush our ships. Radiation levels that would kill most of our species instantly. By all our models, complex life is impossible there." Council leader Hyun-Sik leaned forward. "Yet something intelligent sent this message." "Yes, and according to our analysis, they possess technology we don't understand. Weapons capable of planetary destruction. Yet they were asking for help." The debate went on for days. Some council members wanted to ignore the signal. Whoever sent it was probably dead by now. Others argued they had a duty to investigate, even if it was dangerous. Then the long-range sensors detected something that changed everything. "Massive energy signatures," reported the Federation's lead astronomer, "moving toward our space from the direction of that signal. Whatever destroyed the message senders is coming this way." Fear spread through Federation space like wildfire. For 800 years, they had known only peace. War was something from history books. Their ships were built for exploration and trade, not fighting. But now something was coming. Something that had destroyed a civilization with weapons beyond Federation understanding. Admiral Hyunwoo received orders to assemble the largest fleet in Federation history. 200 ships from 47 different worlds. It was an impressive sight. Sleek vessels designed for peaceful contact, now hastily fitted with defensive shields. "Our mission is investigation and first contact," Admiral Hyunwoo told his captains. "We will approach the signal's source carefully. If we find survivors, we offer aid. If we find threats, we withdraw and report back." The fleet departed with great ceremony. Citizens gathered to watch their ships leave, confident in their superior numbers and technology. The Federation had achieved perfect peace through diplomacy and trade. Surely they could handle whatever waited in the dark. As the ships jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading toward the unknown system, none of them knew they were about to encounter something that would change the galaxy forever. They were going to meet a species that had evolved not in paradise but in hell itself. The signal had been humanity's last cry for help, and now the Federation was flying directly toward the nightmare that had consumed Earth and all her colonies. In the depths of space, something vast and hungry detected the approaching Federation fleet. Ancient sensors awakened. Biological ships the size of moons began to stir. The Devourers had found new prey. The Federation's peaceful age was about to end.